What is up, everybody? Today, as you can see, my garden is doing good. It's gonna rain on me. Might rain during this video, but I'm going to be filling in my raised bed. I have 6 bags of compost. This is gonna be around 20 cubic feet. 6 bags of compost for 1/3 of all my material being compost. The other third will be potting mix, and the other third is perlite. So I have about 2 cubic feet of perlite in this bag, 6 cubic feet of a custom blend from Early Bird Farms in New York by Newfield. This has no perlite in it, but it has vermiculite in it, so I bought perlite to mix in. And this Lambert LMAP has perlite and vermiculite already inside of it, so I went with that. That is 3.8 cubic feet. That should be enough to fill this bed with the manure and compost. And then they had a deal on 3 bags, but I really only needed like 1 to 2 bags of mulch on top. So I'm going to be showing you guys how I lay it out, and here's the rest of my compost. So I dumped the 2 Lambert LMCB custom blends in here. I'm about to add this perlite. Again, this is a 4 cubic foot bag. I've already used it in multiple other bags of this LMCB. So I have about 2 cubic feet left in here. Pour this out, and then I'm going to mix it up real good. So this is what it looks like with the perlite mixed in. You just have to do it with your hands. I haven't found anything that really mixes in there good. Make sure you get around the edges so that everything is just equally mixed. Now I'm going to put in this other potting mix, this LMAP, which already has, it's basically the same thing, but it already has some perlite in it. And then I'm going to mix in this compost as well. That's how much I have in here so far. It's getting close to about 16 cubic feet. A little bit more than I was thinking it was, but now I'm going to add in that compost. 5 bags of compost. This 6th one is going to go in some containers. I have a separate set of soil that I need to mix that into. I'm going to inoculate some of this soil. Dr. Earth will go on the very top, and I'll mix in bat guano is going to go right in now. I have a couple different types of bacteria I'm adding in. This is I'm not even gonna even try to pronounce it. But this is good at killing any bugs and stuff that are in the soil. It lives in the soil. It helps your plants, and it keeps bugs and stuff from living in your soil because it grows on them and ends up killing them. And then I also have some Roots Organic. I just have a couple different microbes, and I like to get as many as I can in the soil. And then this is the Pride and Joy. This is microbes. It's spelled a little funny, M-I-K-R-O-B-E-S, I believe. And this has fungi in it that's supposed to eat Fusarium wilt fungi. So I try to put this in when I can. So I'm just going to read the directions. The bat guano, I'm going to be using 1 to 2 pounds for 100 square feet. So I'm going to be using, half a pound, and this is a 3-pound bag. I'm just going to sprinkle it in there along with the other microbes. So this is what it looks like. I haven't tilled it or moved it at all since I showed you the compost. Just bat guano and a bunch of these. I did put some of the all-purpose fertilizer down within, and now I'm just going to till this up. I might grab my garden rake just to help me mix it a little bit better. And because I want to mix this all really good, I'm just going to take my time with it. I might have to go in on my hands again and just dig from the bottom up to kind of till up some of the soil underneath. But this is going to be a good top dressing, and I'm going to try to mix it all the way down to help develop this bed, and I'll be planting in it in a few weeks. This is what it looks like, all mixed up. I made sure I did a great job mixing it. Now I'm going to see how many bags of this mulch I need. Hopefully I only need 2. I'm just going to put a thin layer of mulch on top. But first I'm going to water this pretty thoroughly so that all these microbes and stuff can start growing in the soil. So I'm just going through, gonna take my time, water it all thoroughly, and then I'm gonna again kind of use my rake and flip it around, flip the soil, basically tilling it, and then I'm going to see where the dry spots are. So I'm just taking my time, watering it all relatively as even as I can, and then I'm just gonna flip it over and till it. We're supposed to be getting rain here today, so I'm not crazy worried about how well I get it, but I still just want to get it good. For example, you can still see how dry it is underneath. So I'm gonna be here for a couple minutes, and I'm just gonna keep watering this in. How I tell if it's almost wet enough is when I'm moving this around and tilling it. You can see it's starting to be a relatively darker color. There is still some dry, so I still have to do this maybe 1 or 2 more times. But as you can see, when I do till, now it's not just completely dry underneath. I've just been doing this, mixing it up, watering more, mixing it up, watering more. And I feel like that's going to be the most efficient way to get even watering throughout your soil bed, especially when there's nothing in here and you're able to do this. So this is the color I like. This has not had any more water set on top after I tilled it. So I like to see a nice, even, darker but not soaking wet finish. Means that I got it wet enough for what I need, and it's going to just start to dry out for the next couple days. I wanted to get it wet so that all that bacteria can start to grow and the fungi can start to grow. I am going to put a little bit more of this on top just to make sure that I have a nice, because I'm not going to till this anymore. This is how it's going to sit. So I'm going to put some more of this Biaveria bassiana. I'm going to be applying more of this just to the surface layer to give it a nice protection from bugs while it's growing. And yes, you cannot put this where bees are going to be in contact. So I would not apply this on flowers or anywhere where there's bees, because they will take this back and it can kill their hive and it kills them. So I will just sprinkle this on the surface and dig it in just a touch, just very ever so slightly, so that it can inoculate the surface and hopefully keep my surface pest free, like fungus, gnats, etc. This is what it looks like sprinkled on. Spray a tiny bit of water on them just to get them wet. Just gonna use my rake, just ever so slightly on the surface. Just get it mixed in. Get this inoculated and hopefully have a good harvest. Okay guys, so this is what the bed is gonna look like. So now when I'm ready to plant, I just pull this mulch to the side, plant. Some spots it's a little bit deeper than others, but when I go through and plant, I'll be able to move it. This right here is to just keep the surface moist, and this is cedar, so it's going to repel bugs. I guess cedar is a natural bug repellent. So I'm super excited to give it a try. If you guys like this, you want to follow along with this grow, make sure you guys subscribe. And I also do a lot of powder coating and Cerakoting and restoration stuff. So just to recap, there's basically 10 cubic feet, 10 cubic feet of soil, Lambert soil, 2 cubic feet of perlite, and 4 cubic feet of mulch, and 5 cubic feet of compost. So this is around 20 cubic feet. I did measurements of it. It's like 6.5 by 3 foot. And I wanted a roughly a foot deep bed, 12 inches. This might be a touch more at this point, but I wanted it to almost be level with this board for support. And with the level it's at right now, it's right on this other board for support. So I think this landscape fabric is going to hold up good. Super simple raised garden bed, 4 wooden stakes and some used recycled pieces of 2x4 and 1x2. And the other side again is another wood stake. We put on dirt bike races, so a nice little wood stake. And I just use an old bag from one of my soils as part of a covering because there's a hole inside of this fabric. And it's all recycled fabric. It was in our garden last year. So I'm just trying to do a raised bed for the first time. So like I said, subscribe, follow along if you want to. More helpful hints if you guys have any questions. I've been growing for about 2 years now, different types of plants. So if you have any questions, try to put them in the comments below and I'll try to answer them. Peace.